Hey guys, welcome back to Nick's Mini Bikes. Today we're doing part 2 of that 224 build. Get that head on and see if we can get that billet flywheel put on. See if we can get anything else done. So let's jump right in. Alright guys, what we're gonna do, we're going to pop these stock valve springs out and replace them with these 18-pound ones from Go Power Sports. So we'll get that lash cap off of there, and it's on the exhaust side. And if you look closely, the caps are different. That one with the lash cap has a recess for the lash cap, and the intake side does not. So all we're going to do is put our finger on the valve we're going to take off. Both thumbs. Push it down and over. That's all it takes to get those off. It's in the center, you push it down, holding the valve, and it comes out of that bigger hole there. Here's your 18, here's your other one. We'll just set it on there. Hold that valve up from underneath. We'll put the stem in the bigger hole out by the edge, push it down, and move the stem into the center. That, and we'll do the same thing on the intake side. Once you get both valve springs put on, we'll put our lash cap back on that exhaust valve. So in the last video we determined we had about 20 thou piston pop out, and we want 30 thou quench for that piston to head clearance. So we're gonna reuse our stock head gasket. We clean this surface off, put our dowels back in. They both go on the bottom. Head gasket is this way. We clean the gasket surface of the head. We'll set it on those dowels. Now we'll take our 4 head bolts and get them started by hand. And we'll run them down with the impact. I don't know if you really need to take these down in stages, but I'm going to go in 2 stages. I'm going to go 10. And then I'll take it to 17. Next we'll put our push rods in. I dipped both ends in oil, so in that head you got a hole that the ball will fit through at the top, and it comes down. And you just want to make sure you go in that tappet down there. Set both of our rockers on there. The end with the dome right here grabs your push rod. This end with the dish, when you're looking at the top of it, goes on top of the valve. Put our keepers on there. We'll dump a little bit of oil on those valve springs. Then we'll put our lock nuts on. Alright, so we put this motor together at top dead center. So we're going to go ahead and set this valve lash. Here's our cam card. This is valve lash, 3 thou for both the intake and the exhaust. So that's what we're going to set it to. So I got our 3 thou filler gauge. I'm just going to slide it right in here. Give me a loose 3 thou. $14mm wrench for the bottom, 10 for the top. And then it's already tight, so we'll back the 14 off. Back it off some more. See if we can get it some more. It's not loosening up, so we'll back that 10 off. Hold the 14, tighten the 10. There, that's a nice tight 3 thou. Now we'll come do the same over here. I'm going to take that spark plug out so that motor will spin around easier. I'm going to take this old flywheel to help me spin that motor. Slide it on this side. Now I'll just slowly turn that motor over, see how those valves are doing. So here goes our exhaust valve. Here goes our intake valve. And here goes our compression release. Alright, I spun that around 5-6 times. Double check the lash and it's good at 3 thou. Get this old flywheel back off. And we'll get this Woodruff key out. So I got a little screwdriver and a hammer. I got Chuck holding the block. Just gonna stick that screwdriver right in front of that key there, and I'm gonna hit it with a hammer. Got that key out. Took quite a bit of beating to get that out of there. It's good and snug, but we got it out. Now we'll get that new billet flywheel and bring it over. We'll take some valve grinding compound and we'll get it on that crankshaft. Got our billet flywheel. I did buy this used, but it looks like it's in pretty good shape. Just get it on there. And we'll just spin it back and forth for a day and a half. We'll take it off. Take a paper towel. We'll wipe all that valve grinding compound off. I don't know if you can see the color difference where it lapped. You got shiny here, and it goes flat like a duller silver right through here, and that looks pretty good. Kind of hard to see on the flywheel, but it's the same way. You got the more silver on the front a more dull color on the back. When you lap that flywheel in, make sure you get all that valve grinding compound off. Because if it gets into something, it will continue doing what it's supposed to do. So we'll get some parts cleaner. We'll get that crank and that flywheel cleaned really good. We got this all cleaned up. Now we'll put our key back in. We'll take our flywheel and we'll slide her on. Our stock pull starter cup. Our nut. Take my crank holder that I'd made. Get it put on this side. We'll torque that flywheel nut to 70 foot-pounds. So when I took this valve cover off, I could see, looks like little spots. Those rocket arms are rubbing inside that valve cover. So I didn't care for that much. So I went ahead and got me a spacer. So that'll go gasket. Then the spacer on top of it, and the valve cover. The valve cover has the original gasket on it still. It does have a hole for venting or pulse pump. Make sure that's on the side. It doesn't have the spark plug. Then we'll slide a bolt through. Get that one started. And we'll get the other top one and the two bottom ones. Alright, so these bolts, I don't know what they're torqued to. I'm just going to put them down nice and snug. We'll just work our way around even. Alright, and I don't know if I'm going to run anything out of this hole yet or not. So they send it with a plug. And they send it with a barb fitting there. So for now, I'm just going to put the plug in. So the last thing we'll knock out in this video is the coil. Got the stock coil here. Here's our kill wire. We'll lay on the top there. And we'll just 2 8mm bolts. I'm going to set that coil gap to 35 thousandths. Start on one side of the coil. Let it suck it down on there. Snug it down. I just want it tight enough so that magnet won't suck it back down anymore. We'll get it underneath the other side, push it down. Snug that bolt up. Route that kill switch wire across the top of the motor. Down through its little holder over here. Alright guys, that's going to do it for that part of the 224 build. Man, I'm getting excited to get that on a bike and see what it can do. Next time we'll get an exhaust on there, and we'll get our Amazon generic Mikuni on there and see if we can get it to run. So like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on seeing what this 224 will do. Right, Benny?
Yeah!